Welcome to Reason Workshop, Class 6, the Reason Sequencer Close-Up. So we'll start out with the basic layout, song and edit modes, and the zoom tools. Then the sequencer toolbar, song and edit mode buttons, tool overview, snap controls, and additional toolbar features. Then we'll go through the tool window. Quantize, pitch, note velocity, legato adjustments, scale tempo, alter notes, automation cleanup, and extract notes to lane. And finally, we'll have a test. So let's start out with the basic layout, song and edit modes, and zoom modes. The three main modes of the sequencer are song mode, block mode, and edit mode, and they all can be selected here. So here in song mode, at the top, you have the transport track. And all the transport controls can be automated. So if you turn on the automation record button on the transport, then any changes you make during record on the transport will be recorded to be played back in time. Now on each track, you see mute solo, automate, and you should have a lane on every channel. Sometimes you don't actually have a lane there, and you actually do have to add a lane in order for it to show up. If you ever double click on audio, that's how you get into an edit mode. Or whenever you click on the edit mode button, it will take you into the edit mode of the track that you're currently selecting. When you're editing audio, the buttons allow you to switch between comp mode and single user mode. Comp mode allows editing between multiple takes and crossfades. If you just click on one of those cuts and move up or down, it will create crossfades. And double-clicking on any of the blocks will allow you to edit any of the information in the blocks. If you double-click on MIDI, then we'll get into editing the information of that MIDI track. And then with the zoom tools, you have the vertical zoom tool, and then you have this waveform zoom mode, which doesn't affect the level, it just affects the view. There's also the song navigator, which allows you to zoom horizontally, and you can resize that song navigator to have smaller adjustments. Or you can also do a plus and a minus here. At the very top of the toolbar, we have, again, the song, block, and edit modes. Then for the tools overview to the right of that, we have the selection tool, which is very powerful. First of all, you can click and drag audio and MIDI. This is where we also can copy. If you hold down Option when you drag anything around, it will just copy over. You can certainly select blocks. If you click on the arrow, it will give you a pull-down menu for what block or what sequencer information that is. If you double-click on the beat, here we'll double-click on the MIDI here, and the selection tools. If I click on the ruler, the play marker will jump to the point at where I just clicked. I can move MIDI notes right and left in time, and up and down in pitch. And again, holding down Option at any point would also copy that. Snap to grid and grid value dictates the measurements of the ruler. We'll talk about this a little bit more in the future, but just for now, you can see here I'm just moving around 16th notes. But if I move that up to quarter notes, then the rulers change and I move to that. You can completely take off snap and you can make more minute changes. Let's go over the pencil now. So the pencil can both draw automation such as this, and it can draw in empty clips, or you can actually draw in blocks. Or you can draw in pattern changes. It can also draw in notes. So you can draw in these hi-hat patterns. Now, the size of those MIDI notes that you draw are dictated by the snap value. Here's the eraser tool, which just erases information, and it can erase blocks, it can erase live audio, it can erase, any kind of information. Then here's the razor tool, which is a very powerful tool. It allows you to cut at whatever the grid value is, or of course you can take snap off. You can also use the razor tool as a selection tool. So you can click over there and drag all the way over, and that will select the piece from where you started to where you ended. And you can use that to make minute cuts. Over here we have the mute tool, which you can just click on any clip and it will mute it. You can also use the magnifying glass tool. Click on that, you will go closer. Hold down Option, you will go further away. And then there's the hand to just move things around. All of these are great keyboard shortcuts as well. Q all the way to U, that whole top row of your computer keys. Snap to grid controls, we've already gone through a great deal. Next is go over to clip position and length. So if I have a clip selected, it will tell me exactly what position that's at. I can slide it forward or back. I can also change the length of it, either in very small, minute little changes, or over here in more drastic changes to the length of that clip. Now, as you can see, when I click on live audio, that clip inspector is going to give me a lot more things. Here you can check out length. So there are these additional toolbar options for live audio. So I can change the volume, turn the volume up. Or you could just click in the window and move it up that way. Let's also transpose it. These are in half steps, negative half steps. Or up in half steps. This is 5 steps higher. Now let's go through the tool window. So we have quantize, which we went through in a previous video. Pitch, this is transpose. You can just hit apply. Right now it says 12 half steps, so it's going to be a whole octave higher. With that Alvin and the Chipmunks kind of tone. And that works for audio and for MIDI, of course. So we can just select all. I'll just go Command A and then hit apply on that transpose button and it'll go an octave higher. I'll do Command Z to undo. Now you can also do random notes here, which is great for certain effects. A lot of times you'll program drums and they'll just be on one key and you might want some extra variation. So here's a hi-hat pattern, but I randomly want them to move now between these other notes, okay? Right now that is the third note, which in this case would be D1. First, I'm gonna just select all those hi-hats and join those clips. Command J is the shortcut for that. I'm going to select those, and I want them to all move up to, that's going to be F sharp and G1. Okay, so I can hit those, hit apply. All right, let's also go through note velocity. So if I select those notes now and apply it to fixed, now all the notes, as you can see in that velocity below the MIDI data, is straight. You can also hit add, or we can go to scale, which makes it all quieter by a certain percentage. Or we can go random, which is nice. It gives you a lot of interesting accents. Some notes are quiet, some notes are loud. Let's go to note length, which just adds more note length, making the note longer or shorter. Okay, pretty straightforward. Legato adjustments, which makes notes overlap a little bit. It's great for certain synth stuff. Let's go to scale tempo. That's a very powerful tool. Scale tempo. So let's say I select half of this groove. Now let's go double time. Back to how it was before. Let's hit double again. Check it out. Go double again. It becomes 6. So you can do some really fast crescendos and stuff that way, making drum fills. Let's also apply this to the vocals. It works for live audio really well.
Closer I will run, faster come on.
So we hit apply, and let's go double it again.
Closer I will run, faster come on. Where's the challenge? If you come closer I will run, faster come on. Where's the challenge?
You can also hit scale, so you can just go in smaller, minute distances.
Come on, where's the challenge?
Another common technique is just to make certain notes longer or shorter. So I'm just going to hit the very last note challenge and half it. Now it's twice as long.
Where's the challenge?
Now you can hear a little bit of the artifacts of it, but also there's the pitch correction, the Neptune on it to make it sound bizarre. Let's hear it in context.
If you come closer, I will run faster. Come on, where's the challenge?
Let's go through the alter notes, which is a kind of random quality which can be really interesting. So we'll select this bass pattern here and hit alter notes. Let's get close and see what's happening here. So there's the MIDI data. Now let me hit apply again and watch this. Let's hit apply again. Kind of randomly moves those notes around. Sometimes through that kind of chaos, you'll find something really cool out of it. Automation cleanup takes away some of the automation data if it starts to get really heavy, and you can select how much cleanup you want. And then finally we have extract notes to lanes, which is very useful. So if I just record a beat and it's all on one lane, but now I hit explode and hit move, it's now gonna, bam, make all these different lanes, one for every single note.